Welcome to the Tip Off Episode 1 with your hosts, Joshua Blakley, Isaiah Winfree, and Nicholas Hofmann. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do give us a subscribe. We just started this channel, and we look to bring on many basketball breakdowns and more episodes of these every single week. If you're watching this on Twitch, please give us a follow. Multiple shows a week all the time. Let's get right into it, guys. We got day one matchups. Talk to me about team expectations. Talk to me about last season, how they've changed, who you think's going to win. Isaiah, Lakers versus Nuggets.
Lakers take the W. It's game one, baby. And there's never been a moment with less extra shit coming into it than game one, right? And it could just be pure optimism, baby. But I'm expecting the Lakers to start off on the right foot this year. I think last year was a stern pop in the mouth, just to give everybody a reality check. Not that they were up in the stratosphere of having contending thoughts, but it just reminded everybody that they weren't there yet. And I think this is the beginning of them being there. They made some smart offseason moves. Their roster looks more complete and deeper than it did last year. So I'm expecting them to come out and take the W.
Josh?
Yeah, I like the Lakers too, just in the first game. The Nuggets, I think, are just going to have a little bit of a hangover. They got the ring ceremony. All that shit goes into it. Excuse me. We've seen, all the offseason stuff between the two teams, and it should be interesting. I love what the Lakers did in the offseason. I think they had one of the better off seasons out of any teams, obviously excluding the Spurs, who get the number one pick, and maybe the Bucks and the Celtics. So I really like what they did with their roster. The Nuggets, I don't think they lost too much, but I do think they lost a little bit. Bruce Brown is a really impact player. He's, in between the lines type of thing, stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. So we'll see. I think they're both going to be really good this year. They're both in my top three. But yeah,
I actually don't have a straight answer for this. I do have the matchups, the expected matchups I expect to see, and that's kind of how I broke it down for myself. I think when it comes to starters, we all expect D'Lo versus Murray. I don't think anyone's thinking anything different there. We expect Reeves versus KCP. And in my eyes, I've already named two better players on the Denver Nuggets starting squad. We have LeBron versus Gordon, so you give the edge to LeBron. Vando or Hachi or Hayes, I expect them to be in. Maybe they'll guard Gordon or maybe they'll guard MPJ, depending on who's being put in there. But none of those three players, I think, are better than MPJ. And then you have AD and Jokic. And you could say it's a toss-up, but I think it's clear who wins that. So just based off of that starting lineup, I have to give it to the Nuggets. Depth does change a lot for the Lakers. They're way deeper than the Nuggets are. But how much does depth matter not in the playoffs? In a regular season game one where we expect Jokic to play a lot. I expect LA, they're deeper. They have more time together than half a season, so I expect them to be better than they were last year. They expect to be more aggressive, especially with, I'm considering this one of LeBron's last seasons. I expect this to be all right, we seriously need a win or his legacy is going to screw up. I expect him to be super aggressive, and this is his get back moment for that legacy. He got absolutely torched by the Nuggets in the playoffs. Jokic had an historic playoff run, and that was against LeBron. Isaiah said before the playoffs, no one's ever made history on LeBron until this playoffs, and that was Jokic. Denver, they have Jokic. I think we're all forgetting the best player in the league is on Denver. Murray looked like the third best player in the league during the playoffs. I don't think he looked like the best point guard in the playoffs. He's not, but don't get me wrong. Performance-wise, he looked it. I expect less maybes, less what ifs with the Denver Nuggets. Lakers have a lot of, let's hope this guy turns into something with Christian Wood, with Hayes, with Hachimura, the list with Vando. Is he going to take the next step in offense? It's a lot of maybes. Will they hit their threes? I don't like the maybes in this matchup, especially against a team who's proven to always be there and proven to be the best team with the best player. This is a Nuggets win for me. I don't see it going any other way. Do y'all want to argue it, or do we want to move on?
I'm
I
good.
think all the points you brought up were very valid. I don't think that it's easy to pick Lakers over Denver. It makes sense to take Denver in this matchup. But boy, howdy, do I love betting on the Lakers. So I'm still
Yeah.
going Los Angeles. Like, you told me the truth, and I'm gonna look you dead in your face and say, yeah, I'm still going Lakers. So
I
hold
think
that.
if I was a betting man, I'd make a serious bet on this game.
Yeah.
What's the record of teams coming off a finals win on that first opening night?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
That's a lot of where my pick comes from, man. That ring ceremony, it does something to them. You know,
Jokic spent too much time this offseason around horses. I'm just going to say
have
it.
you seen him in the preseason? He still looks like he's not trying, and nobody can stop him. He still
But
looks
now
like he's
we
not
know
trying.
what he's thinking about, and the mystique is gone. He wants to be with the horses. Go be with the horses, dog.
You're wrong. You're wrong. He might want to be with the horses, but he's still the best player in the league. I think
Do you think it hurts him to be 7 feet tall and know that he could never be a jockey? Things like that mess with me. Not that specifically, but I used to want to drive a Miata.
Oh man, let's get to the next matchup. We have Golden State versus my notes are down. One
The
second.
Suns.
Phoenix.
It's the Chris Paul rivalry game.
Yep. And Joshua, who are you taking in this lineup? Tell us why.
So I like the Warriors. I think Phoenix is going to end up being the better team for sure. And again, it's just preseason, but watching them, it's been rough. That team does not have a lot of chemistry. It's a lot of move the ball on the perimeter until there's about 15, 14 seconds left on the shot clock, and then we're going to go into ice.
Are we talking about Phoenix?
Phoenix, yes. Yeah, it's been a lot of that in the preseason, which is fine. Again, this is a new team. They're figuring out the dynamics. They don't really have, I guess, a true point guard. I think Devin Booker is totally capable of filling that role with Bradley Beal. But I just think it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for those guys, and it hasn't looked great. I think it's going to even out and everything, but just for the first night, especially with the Warriors, Clay coming back healthy, everybody coming back, and the team is pretty much the same from last year. So I just think that first night, I give it to the Warriors.
Isaiah?
I think that the Warriors are a smart man's pick, but I read the man in the jersey. I think Jake the Snake is going to go and lead his team to a flashy W. I don't just think the Suns are going to win. I think Kevin Durant is going to come out and do something stupid and drop like 40.
Jake the Snake.
Yeah, he's going to come out and do something amazing. And it's going to be one of those, Isaiah, you should walk back your Kevin Durant takes. And I'll hold fast and say no, because by the end of the season, I'll still be right. But Kevin Durant thrives off of drama. Like, I think his presence, his aura, who he is as a person, thrives off of conversation. And the only way to start that conversation is to drop 40 and beat the Warriors.
I definitely agree with you. I will say, I think I saw this meme on Instagram, so I'm not going to pretend like it's mine. But we all have heard of death squads, and it feels like the Warriors are a near dead squad. Especially if Chris Paul ends up being a starter, like they're saying he might be. I do expect the Warriors to have a hot start this season, due to their age. I think their best chance is a hot start. And I don't expect the Phoenix Suns to have a hot start. I expect them to take a lot of games, try and figure out what they're going to do. I expect them to really prioritize that playoffs. They'll have some crazy games. They'll have some really good games. I don't expect it to be against the chemistry-full Warriors. And the Warriors, except for the season they won the chip, have always been really good in the beginning of the season, especially when healthy. My thing is Draymond going to be healthy? He hasn't played in preseason. We'll see, but I am excited to see how they both play. It's a hard matchup. I think this one's a lot harder for me to decide than the other one, but we'll have to see with that one. Any other notes on that before we continue?
I think the most confusing thing that you can do as a team that's still trying to learn important pieces of your rotation, learning how to make that unit work. One of the worst things that you can do is win. Because then you have less to look at as to what to improve because things worked, but they're not actually going to work for real. And like I said earlier about Kevin Durant thriving off of conversation, I think this is going to be part of the cocktail that makes the Suns only fringe dangerous, and beating a hot start Warriors with a old but experienced lineup seems like the way that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Josh, any other last notes on that one?
Nope.
All right, let's get into our. I'm going to start this one. Our preseason MVP. We're all going to agree on one, decide on one together.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone has one not that I'm going to name, we'll go from there. Jonathan Kuminga is the clear preseason MVP for me. 3 games, only 1 start, averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 55% field goal percentage, 47 from the 3-point line. And again, on 1 start, he's been given a lot of opportunity on that team, and he's taken the most of it. I think everyone for the last year or two has been expecting Jonathan Kuminga to make that jump. And he's also one of the reasons why I give the Warriors an edge over the Suns. Jonathan Kuminga seems like one of the best players on the Warriors just based off of preseason. Who are you guys looking at for preseason MVP?
Let Isaiah go, please.
No, I think that the Kuminga take was really good, and I don't have anything at all that moves me as much as what I just heard. So I've got to go Kuminga also.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Kuminga pick. We'll agree on that. Sorry, my dog is going a little bit nuts. My pick originally was Wemby, and that's just because I think he proved that the offensive side of the ball is going to be there for him in the first year. And he's just such a freak, man. We've seen him play the 4. We've seen him play the 5. He's held up. It's not getting bullied out there. I know the whole offseason they were saying, oh, he's not going to put on weight. They apparently put on about 20 pounds coming into the season.
He looks healthier.
So I like Wemby. I'm fine with Kuminga, especially just the road that dude's had. It's looked pretty bleak for him, and the Warriors are really counting on him to take a leap. I think he has to if they want to be a serious contender. They're going to have to get play out of him and some of those other younger guys.
Yeah, I think especially with their team now, adding Chris Paul is going to help Kuminga. Of all players, he's going to be the one that really gets a lot of lift from Kuminga because he's playing a lot of minutes with Jordan Poole last season, and you're just not getting touches. Kuminga comes off as a player who wants to score and not necessarily wants to be that Andrew Wiggins role where you stick him in the corner. And it'll be interesting to see. But are we all in agreement? Kuminga, our first preseason MVP?
Kuminga, I came in thinking Wemby. Kuminga, after taking a look at just the impact he's had, as opposed to just fulfilling the prophecy. It sucks, but because people already said it was going to happen, it's less impressive when you're right, kind of thing. And so I think Kuminga coming off of the bench and still putting up 26 over a 3-game stretch, and leading them to good wins is
leading them to being flawless. They're 3-0 as well. So awesome. Kuminga, very first MVP. I never thought a Kuminga would win an award given by me. But here we are. Let's jump right into our rapid fire conference rankings. Joshua, take us through your 1 through 15 Eastern Conference.
1 through 15. Okay. So 1, I got the Celtics. I think just the core mostly coming back between Horford, Tatum, and Brown. I think Derek White is going to start at point guard for him. I think they're just going to have a really good regular season. I don't think they're going to take much time to gel, and they're going to be able to take out of the gates fast. Number 2, I have a team that I think is going to end up better than the Celtics, but I think they're just going to have a little bit of a rocky start, especially with the new coach, and that's the Bucks. That Dame and Giannis pick and roll is going to be unstoppable. I think I maybe originally downplayed the idea of having a new coach and changing the system. I was watching the game the other night, and there was this play where basically they fed the ball to Giannis in the post, and I think it was Malik Beasley, was right out on the corner wide open, and Giannis didn't even turn to him, and Giannis kicked it to the opposite corner. And I think that's just going to be some systematic issues that they're just going to have to work through. We know Bud didn't make adjustments. They ran that same offense pretty much all the way through. Three,
I think we've seen a lot of I don't want to, but I do want to, because I agree with your list so far. We have the same list so far, 1 through 2. To talk about, I agree with the system thing. There was a lot of points where Giannis was in the low post, in the low elbow, and just had to make Giannis hero plays to save them in possessions. And as much as he's amazing, I don't know if you can rely on that through an entire season.
Now, I will say, though, Giannis made a comment, which I thought was kind of funny, is he said, I've never seen a teammate of mine get double teamed and blitzed like that. And he was like, I thought it felt like a regular season or playoff type defense. And once they get that rolling, I think it's going to be unstoppable. I mean, I'm sitting back from trying to be a coach on the couch. I can't think of anything how to guard that pick and roll without, Dame shooting over the top of you, Giannis just going through you, or it being kicked out to a pretty high. I think all of their shooters are about 35% or higher from the corner threes. Even Brooke Lopez, who has really sagged off in that.
I think you need like a Jared Vanderbilt type of player who can guard both guards and bigs, and then you also need that Wemby type who can just stop the roll. I don't know if that stops the duo, but it definitely feels like the only possible way, and nobody has that on any team.
I think the closest thing to it is the Celtics, because I mean you can put Brown, I guess, on Giannis and maybe Drew on Dame, or flip that, and then they're pre-switching. And I mean, we've seen Jaylen Brown guard Giannis. I'm just saying, I think when I look at the rest of the league, that's the closest. I think
it's the Lakers. I think the AD, Vando, LeBron, Reeves, D'Lo. The smallest guy there is D'Lo. He's 6'4". I don't see. They have a lot of those big guys who at least can play defense on the guards. I think the closest in my eyes is a team like the Lakers. I don't know if Jaylen Brown is stopping Giannis.
He's done okay. He's played against, he has guarded him in the past, and he's done okay for, his size and everything. But I don't want to spend too much time on this. The rest of this, I really don't feel great about. But I got the Cavs at 3. I think they're just going to be a solid regular season team. Just counting on Evan Mobley stepping up a bit. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell another year together. 4, I got the Knicks. I really like this team.
We have the same list so far. It's actually crazy.
I really like Jalen Brunson. And they have probably at least one of the best arsenals to make a trade and even improve throughout the season. They're my 4. 5th, just because they got the reigning MVP and I can't see them sliding down past the rest of these teams, I got the 76ers. 6th, this might be a little bit of a shock. I like the Pacers.
That's where we differ.
Yeah.
Isaiah, so far on his list, just so we can make it to where we all don't have to read everything.
The only thing that I have different so far is Knicks at 3, Sixers at 4, Cavs at 5.
Yeah. I can't even really argue that, because when I look at this East, there's just so much that can go wrong with each team. And besides the Celtics and the Bucks, I really don't feel great about anybody.
I got my 6 is Miami Heat.
Okay, the Heat are my 7.
But I had Pacers at 11
as well.
6 through 11 was impossible for me. I have Miami at 6. I have Pacers at 11. I'll let you continue. There's other teams in the way of that, so that's why.
Yeah. So I have the Heat at 7. I have the team that I picked to rise up, taking the 8th, is the Magic. This team finished the season 29 and 28. Paolo Banchero coming off the USA. I really like this team. 9th, I have the Hawks. I don't really know. 10th, I have the Nets. Sorry, my list is falling down on me. 11th, I got the Bulls. 12, I got the Raptors, just in case they don't blow their team up. But I really think that we're going to see a blow up from them. 13th, I got the Wizards. 14th, I've got the Hornets. And 15th, I got the Pistons. I just don't like the Pistons.
Yeah, man. I think after 6, you can put a lot of teams just in a few different places.
Yeah.
From 6, where I differ from you is I have 6 is Miami. I have the Bulls at 7. I think people forget 2 seasons ago they were the first seed.
Mhm.
And then
I think they forget 2 seasons ago they were
they
the first
also might
seed.
forget, but that's why I have them at 7. I think they're a play-in team. I think they were a play-in team last season. They were 1 quarter away up from beating the guys who went to the finals. Miami Heat. Yeah, and they blew it. I think they're still. I think they've gotten a little bit better. Still no Lonzo Ball, so I could see them falling to 10, 11. But right now I have them at 8. Number 9, I have the Raptors because I think on paper they're still just as good of a team, just as good of a playoff team. I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're going to play well in the playoffs, but they come to me as a play-in team still, and that's without them making moves. I don't want to predict on move making, and not predicting on move making is my 10th is the Hawks. I still think you have to give them respect for what they're able to do throughout the season, even though they always fall short. 11, I have the Pacers. I think the Pacers, my 11 through 15 is Pacers, Magic, Wizards, Pistons, Hornets. I really had to give myself a reality check on the Pistons, and I realized they're the second worst team in the East. I don't have much hope in the Wizards. They're going to be fun, but I don't think they have it. Magic, they look awesome, but I don't know if they push the play-in just because there's a lot of teams who are in middle of the road, and they feel like the team that just entered middle of the road. And sometimes that could be a good thing. Sometimes that could be a bad thing. And I think the only controversial thing is my 8th at the Nets. I think the Nets are a clear play-in team, playoff team. They'll be in the play-in, obviously, especially with Ben Simmons playing how he is. Isaiah, where does yours differ after 6?
We're in the same neighborhood. We're going Miami at 6 as the last team to definitively make the playoffs. And for me, 7 through 10 likely are going to be separated by maybe 2 to 3 games. It's also, they all equal the same thing as play-in teams. And so at 7 through 10 in no particular order, I've got Indiana, Orlando, Brooklyn, and Atlanta. Because Trae Young is still good for 30 a game and 10 assists. And as much as fun as it is to hate on him and the Hawks, apparently having one guy who is that dude can get you into the play-in. And then outside that, outside looking in, you've got you're bringing up the rear teams, your Washington, your Detroit, your Charlotte, and I'm forgetting one.
You're forgetting Chicago.
I think Chicago's going to miss the play-in.
Really?
I think Chicago is probably the least promising team in the middle of the road, and for me, I think that that's just going to continue through the season because in the way that we know that the Raptors. I missed the Raptors also. I also think that they're going to miss the playoffs.
I just want to real quick. If the Bulls had Lonzo Ball,
we'd be a clear.
They're a top 5 team.
Yep, in the East,
probably,
in the East alone.
In the East, they would probably be top 3 or 4 on my list. I really like that team, but without Lonzo, man, that's just so sad. I hope he gets well soon and comes back strong, and that Bulls team is still together because that was made for him. That group.
That's what locks them into the bottom of the pack for me is because they do have an injured Lonzo. They do have what could be a top 5 team in the conference, a contender in the conference. And because of that, they're not going to make any moves.
They added Javon Carter, who is they just added.
I like him. Good backup.
They just added Big from the Thunder from 2 years ago. The power forward, I forget his name. He was starting power forward. I'll look it up. They just signed him.
Yeah.
But Javon Carter adding to the point guards that we desperately need. And we have Caruso for the defense we're missing from Lonzo Ball. I don't know how much Lonzo affects this team huge, but I don't know how much we're missing, if that makes sense.
How do you feel about Ayo? Sorry to cut you off. I'm just
Ayo Dosunmu.
Yeah, he was the guy I was really, really high on.
He's like Kobe White to me. He could do stuff, but they're not. They haven't taken that. Who's the guy on the Sixers? I'm forgetting his name. That's taken the leap. The guard, Tyrese Maxey. They had that Tyrese Maxey energy of like, oh, that person's going to take a leap. Oh, they're going to take
show
a leap.
The flashes,
but they haven't done it like a Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up who the Bulls signed, but yeah, that's where I'm at with that. They just signed Derek Favors.
Okay. Derek
So I
Favors.
expect him to help out a lot. I think not putting the Bulls in a play-in position is kind of criminal, especially over. I mean, what teams of the Pacers, Magic, Wizards, Pistons, Hornets have a better two-man than Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan? I don't know. I don't know any.
I think part of what kills it for me is I think there is room for teams to improve, and best case scenario for Chicago, they stagnate to a play-in team because they're not breaking through the top six.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
agree.
that weighs on a unit. You know what I'm saying? Like they know their place in the East, and I think that's going to change momentum in games that matter. Orlando, Indiana, Brooklyn, um, they all are the teams that I have like jumping Chicago and being the play-in teams, and Atlanta is there just off of consistency alone. But that's my thing is there. I almost feel like it's easier to talk about Atlanta than it is Chicago, and not a lot happens in Atlanta outside of Trae Young giving you 30 points a game. And I don't know if it's just prettier because they have a 3-point and Chicago is an inside the arc team, and so everything's worth two all the time. I just I think there's room for guys to eat that haven't been able to eat in a while, and I don't think Chicago has that same hunger that those other younger squads are going to have.
I
But they
respect.
are. They're good. That's a
I,
good roster.
I respect it. I'll give my West, and then we'll go with your guys' off of there. The
Mhm,
Denver Nuggets at number 1.
mhm,
I got the Lakers at number 2.
mhm,
At 3, I have Phoenix. At 4,
Golden
I have
State.
At 4, I have you have Golden State at 3.
Yeah.
I'll give you my 1 through 5, and then I'll let y'all go through 1
Like
through 5.
6.
1 through 6.
That's
Cool.
yeah, all the teams that make the playoffs.
Cool. I got Nuggets, then Lakers, then Suns, then Kings, then Warriors, then Clippers. And I know it's a lot of hate, so go ahead. Tell me, guys.
So I'll go first because I think this is
Mhm.
going to probably cause an argument. We have about the same list. I have the Kings number 1. Yeah.
Wait, so all those 6 players are in the top, all teams?
Yeah, so I have Kings, Nuggets, Lakers, Suns, Grizzlies, Clippers as my 6.
I don't got I got Grizzlies at 7.
Okay, and the Warriors are
You
my
don't got-
2nd.
Oh, okay.
So I have those 2 flipped.
Yeah.
The Kings, they play a super fast pace, high scoring, and we know that works well in the regular season. Sabonis played, I think it was, I looked it up earlier, I think it was 47 games with a broken thumb this season and throughout the playoffs. Keegan Murray, we saw him struggle early in the playoffs, and then he came on really, really strong at the end of that series. The other thing that I think is going to play a big role to that is the Kings were primarily a really run and gun, offensive heavy team. We know Mike Brown at his core is a defensive coach. With another offseason under him, I think we're going to see, I'm not saying they're going to be a top 3 defensive team or anything like that, but I think their defense is going to improve. Their offense is going to improve by default, with just Sabonis being more healthy. And I just think that type of style that they play is just going to translate to a lot of wins in the regular season.
Fair.
So that's my number 1. And I mean, we went through the rest.
I expect 1 through 6. I expect 1 through 12 in the East to be very close. Maybe not 1 through 3 and the rest of the guys in the West. Sorry, maybe the 1st and 2nd seed are a little bit above that 3rd and 4th area, but realistically, 4 through 8, I expect again to be within a game or 2 of each other. Isaiah, you're 1 through 6.
Denver, LA, Golden State, Sacramento, Phoenix. I still like the Clippers at 6. I hate the Clippers, but I think they can hold 6 if they follow the rules and play their guys.
I think we all agree on the top teams, at least the top 7 teams in the West, especially with the Grizzlies there. Who's your 7, Isaiah?
Grizzlies.
So we got them there. Isaiah, give me your 8 through 15.
This is where things get a little hairy, right? And I guess we can start on the back end here. You've got your Houston is going to be bad. San Antonio, all things considered, they're peaking at 10. Going from winning, would they win 20 games last year?
Something like that. I think it was like
winning another 25 games and winning another 20 games That's a big ask. No matter how, even if you get the best basketball specimen we've seen in shorts in a long time, um, I think we've got the Grizzlies at 7. You've got room for your Timberwolves, your Pelicans, your
I can't believe you're not mentioning the Thunder right now.
Dallas.
No, he's
No,
going
yeah,
backwards, forwards. He's going.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
but I mean, yeah. So the Thunder round out the play-in at 8 because that roster is crazy.
Yeah, I have them at 8 as well as the
So
Thunder.
do I. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Who's your 9 and 10, Isaiah?
So definitively 9 and 10. I've had to take a little bit of a chill pill on both of these hate trains, right? It doesn't matter who you put where, but New Orleans and Minnesota, I think, could fill
I
out
agree.
the play-in.
I agree. I have Minnesota, then New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I expect. What's up?
No, go ahead.
I expect Minnesota to continue the leap they made last year, and they didn't have a lot of Cat Gobert minutes together. I expect them to, and they looked decent in the play-in in the preseason together, and especially with both of them coming off playing for FIBA basketball, and with Anthony Edwards playing for FIBA basketball. I expect that whole team to make a huge jump. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, another guy who also played for FIBA basketball. They got a good team. They got a lot of good young guys. I think we finally see them make that. I mean, they made the play-in last year. I think they're the same boat this year. They could easily fall into 8, maybe 7 if the Grizzlies mess up, if the Thunder mess up. But I think I have to agree. Yeah, Minnesota then New Orleans just because of health.
I have the Pelicans and Timberwolves at 9 and 10 too.
Perfect.
Does it really matter where we put Dallas, Utah, Portland, San Antonio, Houston?
I have the Mavs at 11. I think with a player like Luka and Kyrie, it's like I think they're just in a separate bracket when you look at the Rockets, Spurs, and Trailblazers, and the Jazz as well, that are kind of like my bottom tier teams. I still think the Mavs are just in a different group, but they're the bottom of that different group.
I think the Mavs are just as good as the Trailblazers. The Mavs have 2 better players.
With Luka?
No, look, you take Luka and Kyrie, and what else do they have?
That's fair.
That's been promised. What else do they have that's been promised besides Luka? Look, you have the new big, Lively. I expect him to be well. But look at the lineup. This might be the most athletic lineup in the league. And Fernie Simons, Scoot Henderson, Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, who's going to eat now, especially when we've seen him eat in the Suns. And then it's a whole lot of situational stuff going on with him over there. I expect him to get a new place, thrive. I'm not saying make the play-in, but I also have the Mavericks over them. But I think the Mavericks and Trailblazers are on par with each other with team success. I think the amount of what Luka and Kyrie will do for the Mavs, the young core of like 5 guys for the Trailblazers will do the same exact thing. I don't think that's rude. You know what I mean? I don't think that's messed up.
I mean, the only thing though is with the team success, the Mavs had a pretty deep playoff run, and I mean
2 years ago.
2 years ago, but I mean
without Kyrie,
that's true and everything. But I mean, I don't know, with Luka and everything, and the Trailblazers, I feel like are a really fun team. I watched the preseason game between them and Phoenix, and it started out super competitive, and they were really, really fun. And then the third quarter came, and you kind of saw them start to lose the gas and I mean, again, it's just preseason, but I think that's kind of typical with these guys. They're all pretty young and still learning and everything. And I think their best players are rookies. So a rookie
Anthony
guard.
Simons might be their best player. He leads the preseason with most points in a game. He's the most tenured on that starting roster, except for maybe Jeremy Grant. I don't know who's been in the league longer, but I'm willing to put them at the same area.
Yeah.
I just haven't. I want, in a perfect world, the Mavericks make the playoffs, in my opinion. Right? I don't know who I put them over because I don't know if I'd rather see them than I would rather see the Timberwolves or I'd rather see the Pelicans.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think the Mavericks are loaded. I mean, not loaded, but they are equipped to make either the Timberwolves or Pelicans fall out of that play-in spot.
I agree with that.
You know,
I don't think they have defense to
one.
put. I don't think they have any defense that puts that besides Lively, who's a rookie, and he's not rookie Chet or rookie Wemby. He's a rookie.
Super raw. I have high
Exactly.
hopes for him, but I think he's going to be
A few years until he hits that
guy to where he really hits that. The only thing I'll say though, Luke is an MVP contender,
and he can carry them to a playoff.
There's nobody on the Trailblazers, in my opinion, that is even in that MVP conversation, and that's a big part.
When is the last time we've seen a guy alone? Not alone because he's got Kyrie, right?
And he hasn't done anything with Kyrie. It's only
I'm
been
not
half
saying
a season,
Kyrie
but
is
you get my point.
pedestrian or expired or anything, but Kyrie is not LeBron Kyrie, you know? We're coming up on 7 years when Kyrie was the best point guard or debatably the best point guard in the league, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. As good as Luka is, I think basketball is too tight right now for him to backpack them to anything higher than 10.
I agree.
Because I can't think off the top of my head the last time that a guy did that. A single guy with a really good help piece, a pretty decent second banana, and that's it. Get to even the second round where they got there in the bubble, Luka alone. I think that's everything goes perfect. That's as high as they get.
Yeah.
Second round exit, and that's if they make it.
It will be interesting. I do think I always use this player as like, dang, this player would really help out a team, right? But I still think where they have Kyrie should be Jaylen Brown if they really want to win. I know it feels like I keep saying Jaylen Brown should go on these teams to make them a contender, but his archetype of the two-way 2 to 3 two guard or a 3 that can shoot, that can dribble, that can drive, can take over a game, but also can let somebody else do it and not hurt the team. That's the kind of guy I think they need, because I don't know if Kyrie isn't impacting the team, is he helping the team? Is his gravity that big? I don't think it is. I don't think it's Curry gravity. I don't think it's Trae Young gravity. So it'll be interesting. But before we get off this, I do want to ask you guys, we all have the Rockets at 15?
No.
Yeah. I mean,
No?
Rockets,
Who's your 15?
Utah, it could be either one.
Trailblazers.
Yeah.
So I have Rockets, then Jazz, then Spurs of 15, 14, 13. I think Jazz fall.
Yeah.
I have Jazz 12, Rockets 13, Spurs 14, Trailblazers 15. I like the addition of Fred VanVleet. This is a guy that got drafted in the second round and has worked his way up. I think Ime Udoka is a great coach. So and the Rockets have skillful players, and they just didn't really put anything together. I think taking the ball out of Jalen Green's hand a little bit is going to be kind of like addition by subtraction. I think his scoring efficiency and everything is going to go up from that. I just think they're all going to benefit from playing with a guy like VanVleet that's just kind of an adult in the room and going to take control of the ball. And with Ime Udoka focusing on defense, I just like, and especially we were talking before the show, Cam Whitmore. I'm not expecting anything crazy out of him, but
it's a steal.
Yeah, and the Thompson twin, they look good. And I like VanVleet.
Jabari Smith Jr. is one of my favorite young guys as well on that team.
Jabari Smith Jr. looked like the MVP of Summer League. In my opinion.
I could be hating on them.
He came out and looked. It was like
of Summer League. He was.
I saw him. The first year, his rookie year, and then this past year, totally different player. I think he's going to take a leap. The Spurs, I have them at 14. I'm not going to argue if you want to say the Trailblazers are going to be better than the Spurs. That's probably a little bit of the Wemby hype, a lot of Devin Vassell hype. Devin Vassell looked really, really good. Keldon Johnson's going to take a step, I feel like.
I think those are the only 3 guys we can realistically look on that team and go, they're going to make a jump. Am I tripping? Yeah. I think those are the only 3 guys, which is why I have them low. But I have them above the Jazz because the Jazz had a hot start last season. They're like top 3 for a few months. And then down. I think what Lauri Markkanen did to win them some games, Wemby can easily do just as well. And I don't know if they have a better 2-3. Walker Kessler was good, but he wasn't good till the end of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Colin Sexton isn't that good. He's been overhyped in my eyes. Colin Sexton isn't that good.
I think Colin Sexton's a really good 6-man.
Yeah, but they also have a really good 6-man.
Type
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also
So-
have Lou Williams on the team. Not Lou Williams. Who do
Lou
they have?
Williams.
No, who's
They
their
have-
who's
they
their
have
sixth man
Clarkson.
on the Jazz? They have Clark. There we go.
Yeah, they have Clarkson. I think him
yeah.
and Sexton are basically the same
Yeah,
player.
but I don't think you get as many wins this season. I don't think you get that hot start. And I think anything Lauri Markkanen can do, except obviously on offense, he might be a little bit better than Wemby right now, but I don't think it's much. And I also can see Wemby winning them just as many games as Lauri does. I expect those teams to be on the neck of each other. But besides that, we can go right into our next topic here, guys. We have ESPN Top 100. We all seen the rankings. Before we start trashing the horrible list that was given out, give me your guys' top 5 based off of their top 5.
Josh, you
And I'm
want
talking not right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking for this season.
to
Yeah, for this season, I mean, like we kind of talked a little bit pre-show, I'm good with the top 5. I'm swapping Embiid and Curry. I'm putting Curry third, Embiid fifth.
Yep.
And I'm good with that top 5.
I agree with swapping Embiid and Curry. Oh, what happened to him?
Technical difficulty, I think.
He'll be back. I'm agreeing with you on the Embiid and Curry swap. I think Tatum's 5 for this upcoming season. I think Tatum is number 5. I think he's over KD. I expect him to play better than KD. I expect the Celtics to be better than the Suns, and that alone, you're the best player on that team. You kind of get all that credit. I don't see anybody that's going to play better than Jason Tatum in the East besides Giannis. That's just being honest. I think you have to pick one guy from the Celtics that's going to play really amazing. You have to pick one guy from the Bucks. I don't think anybody's saying Damian Lillard is going to outplay Giannis.
No.
The same way I don't think anybody besides Giannis might outplay Tatum in the East. And I have Giannis as my number 2. So I mean, I think Isaiah, to recap, he agrees with the list except Switch, Embiid, and Steph. I think Switch, Embiid, and Steph, put Steph at 3, Embiid at 4, but I think Tatum should be 5 over KD.
I just worry about his wrist. So he didn't have surgery on the wrist. He talked about, a couple different doctors gave him opinions and said he didn't need it. And again, this is just Twitter clips and whatever. He's looked a little broken shot-wise. He looks like he's shooting from the chest. He's got a bit of a hitch in his pull-up. And again, that might just be reworking himself in with the injury and everything. But I don't know. I worry that it's going to be a little bit of a lingering thing for him throughout this season. And we're just going to kind of have to see.
Giannis,
top 5. Yep.
Jokic, Steph, JT, SGA.
No Embiid top 5. You're one of your favorite players. No Embiid.
I think Embiid is the second best center in the league, but I think there are enough good players that are. I mean, like I don't think that the second best center is better than the best 2 guard or the best 3. You know what I'm saying? So he by default has to fall to 6 at least. So I could see sliding him to 6 and then Doncic at 7, and then you take KD, put him in 8, and then I'm fine with LeBron and AD rounding out the top 10.
I like that. I like SGA at 5. I don't agree. I hope he does play at top 5. He was last season top 5.
I think win shares matter to me, and I think SGA leading a better team is going to mean more than Luka putting up what could be debated as empty stats because
I think he's better than Luka, but not better than Embiid.
That's my thing. You're going to take Embiid over SGA?
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a single 2 guard better than SGA right now.
SGA is the point guard.
Fair enough.
He plays 1 and 2. But the thing with Shea that we saw last season was this guy is 6'6". This guy is 6'6" with pretty great wingspan, and we saw him take that defensive step.
And he's an awkward player. He plays at his own speed, and there's power to that.
And the one thing that, like, the one knock on Shea, if there's any knock, is that he's sometimes a little too passive. And it seems like he wants to get his guys involved too much when he should be taking over the game. And, I mean, we saw throughout FIBA, he looked like probably the best player.
In the entire tournament, yeah.
I mean, he's for real. The jump's for real. We've seen the clutch shooting. All that's for real. Yeah,
I
it.
like it. But I also know we didn't see Jokic. We didn't see Giannis. We didn't see Embiid.
Yep.
We didn't see any of the NBA All-Stars except for like 4 in FIBA. So I don't know how much I can give Shea the FIBA credit when they also lost like USA did. I was so hoping it was USA versus Canada.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But they did beat USA, didn't they? So I mean, much love to him. I hope he plays a top 5. I just realistically, in my eyes, you got to give Embiid the MVP, and he's the best player on arguably 3/4 best team in the East, and Shea is the best player on arguably 7th, 8th, 9th best team in the West. That's my only thing with that. What are some of these players who are ranked there that were just outlandish? I think we all can agree Westbrook at 94. That's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
There's not 93 players better than Westbrook in the league.
The disrespect.
Definitely not Tobias Harris at 83.
And Chris Paul, 76.
Yeah.
Paul.
No. Chris Paul, look, Westbrook, if he didn't prove it to everyone that it was just a bad fit on the Lakers when he was carrying the Clippers against the Suns, I don't know what people are supposed to expect. You know what I mean? He's a turnover guy, sure. But it's the same kind of archetype that people love when they're not doing turnovers. And all of a sudden, when they're in a new team, they get crazy turnovers. It's a bad thing. No, that's what happens. 94 is criminal.
Yeah.
What are some other ones?
For a guy that's averaged a triple-double to have rookies ahead of him and stuff. And I get this is with projection. But yeah, that's a pretty bad one. Another one that I really didn't care for was Desmond Bane at 61.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know why. I feel like he's pretty underrated. And some of the people that they have in front of him, I just don't see it anymore. I mean, CJ McCollum, especially if we're talking about projecting, we're saying CJ McCollum is 22 spots higher than Desmond Bane?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Now, even we talked about win shares a second ago. I guarantee you Desmond Bane has more than CJ McCollum.
Yep.
I guarantee it. He's a huge reason why the Grizzlies are just as good as they are with and without Ja.
Yep.
And speaking of Ja, Isaiah, I'll throw it to you after. Ja at 35? There's not 34 players better than Ja Morant in the league.
I think this is just like overcorrection. Not overcorrection, but it's almost like they're kind of just crapping on him now. And I get all the off-court stuff has been stupid. I hate to see it and everything. But if we're just projecting skill and we're talking on the court, that's insane. That's insane. And I mean, just look at some of these players that they have above them. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton.
No.
I think he's a great player.
He'll make a leap. But
there's no way he's better than Ja Morant.
Or Jalen Brunson is not better than Ja Morant.
Nope. Trae Young. I wouldn't say he's better than Ja Morant.
No.
I think no. All right, man. I'm just saying 30 and 10 in a 6-foot frame.
Listen, you put Ja Morant on a team with nobodies, he'll get 30 and 10.
No, he won't, bro. He's going to get 27 and a blown ACL because all he does is run baseline to baseline with no help. Let's keep it a beam, bro.
He has help. He has help.
I'm saying if you put him, you just said if you put him on Atlanta with nobody. Yeah. I don't think he's getting 30. I think he's getting 25, 27, and he's blowing a knee out.
Oh, no.
Not that I would wish that on him, but I just think that's how the dominoes would fall.
What people have you seen on there that you felt do not deserve the spot, maybe good or bad?
I could be tripping, right? It's just something about the fact that Paul George is 18 is rubbing me the wrong way.
And when Kawhi's 24? Come on.
Yeah, I think Kawhi goes 18, and Paul George probably falls below De'Aaron Fox. I mean, I guess that puts him where Kawhi is, but I don't know if I'd take him over Pascal Siakam. I'd definitely take him over Drew Holiday, who I think is a little too high on the list.
Where's Drew Holiday at? I forgot the number.
Drew Holiday is sitting right at 26. I don't think that he's better than Brandon Ingram, who they have right behind him at 27. I don't think he's better than Triple J, who they have at 31.
I don't think he's better than Ja Morant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say I don't think he's better than John Morant or even Jalen Brunson.
I agree.
So I think you can tell that they did this in batches. I mean, the article came out in 3 different steps, right?
Yeah.
But you've got your top 10, and once you come out of the top 10, like it's honestly a toss up where you put D Book, where you put Jimmy Butler, where you put Ant, and I think Dame rounds that out. I think Donovan Mitchell is a respectable 15, right? That 5, it really doesn't matter who you put where. And then they get to, okay, let's put our top 20 as another 5. And then after that, you can tell that they kind of just it's where it starts to get where
Yeah.
their tier, you're getting to B tier stars. And there's not a huge ton of difference between a lot of
No,
these stars.
I think to call Kawhi or Ja a B tier star is crazy.
Neither one of them have gotten you. I mean, now Ja got them to the conference finals, if I'm correct, right? They lost to the
No,
Warriors,
they
who went on
did
to
they make
beat the
conference final?
Celtics.
I thought it was a
Semifinals.
semi.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they got to the second round, right?
Kawhi is 2-time Finals MVP. Still looks just as good
That was
When
so
he
long
plays.
ago.
when he plays. When he plays,
I
he's
didn't-
just as good.
I didn't have chin hair the last time Kawhi was relevant.
So I mean, we kind of touched on this on the last episode, though. When Kawhi was healthy last season, he had that stretch where he looked like he was the best player in the NBA.
Mm.
And I don't know. With his style and everything, I think he's still there. So I would probably have to look at a full league roster to really make this argument. But Grant Williams, I know he's 97, but what is he doing on this list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
as somebody
Williams,
from
Grant
Connecticut who watches a lot of Boston, I really appreciate what that guy did for the team. But yeah, this list is just, I mean, every year, I think it's a little wonky.
Let's get. Oh, go ahead, Isaiah.
Speaking of specifically Grant Williams, right? This was the article that came out first. It's 100 through 51. Nobody really cares about those guys. Do you think they snuck him on for clicks because he's within the first couple players you scroll to?
What clicks are you getting off of Grant Williams? You know what I mean? Besides
Uh,
people who like Jimmy Butler.
Exactly how we just reacted. What is he doing on this list? But I mean, Mitchell Robinson deserves to be in the top 100. Jonas Valanciunas is up there. Colin Sexton, hard maybe. Harrison Barnes is a hard maybe.
Maybe.
You've got your young guys like Jalen Williams, Russ. Let's not talk about it. He's way too low.
Jalen Williams deserves top 100.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Mike Conley still is top 100. I think he's close. But
yeah, I think he's 93.
He is 93 on the list, but I don't know if he belongs on the list just as much as Grant Williams doesn't really belong on the list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I agree. So, guys, we are going to do – I'm pulling up my notepad so that way we can keep track. We've decided pre-show how we're going to draft order-wise, all that jazz. And that being said, the order today is going to be Josh, then Isaiah, then me. And we're going to be drafting from 3 teams. Those teams are UConn, those teams are UCLA players, and those teams are Kentucky players. Is that correct?
Yep.
All righty. Out of every player possible, out of ones we just named, let me make sure I can get this, make sure this is working. And while we do that, talk us through your first pick.
I mean, this is easy. Kareem.
Kareem? Yeah. I don't think there's anybody else.
Yeah, I don't think we even have to talk about this one. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Isaiah, who are you taking?
So
I'm marking off my list now.
Yeah, that's one of those that
marking on my list now. Because I was like, if
almost
whoever
didn't
gets
even
first.
want to put him on the list. Yeah. I'm stuck. I want to go center, right? I think all 3 of us are probably going first pick center. And
I'm going guard.
okay.
We're doing these players in their prime, by the way, because it's the only way 2K will let me do it.
Prime, and let's assume healthy and everything.
Yep, all that. Yep, because I'm going to do a 2K sim, and we're going to do it couple-wise. So each of our teams are going to play each other once. I'll stream it. and then we'll take the best record. If there's a tie, I'll have those teams play each other one more time.
Awesome. I will take an L to recency bias here, and I'm going Anthony Davis over Bill Walton.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it a lot. So I made a mistake, and when I wrote down my list, I wrote Duke players for a hot second.
Yeah.
I've corrected it. We talked about them all day. I don't know anybody who's going to give me 32 and 10 on this list consistently, on amazing efficiency, and lead my team. So I'm going to take Shea as my first pick. Shea is, I'm not going to type out his name because I'm going to look stupid if I type it out.
Yeah.
But I'm taking Shea first, and then my second pick, there's a few guys I really want to take. I feel like if I don't take them now, you guys will. Shoot. I'm taking Bam Adebayo. No, I'm not. I'm taking Bill Walton.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I almost
I was
took Bam.
like-
I really wanted to. But, if I don't take Bill now, somebody's going to steal him, even though you guys have bigs. Isaiah's the type to grab two bigs.
100%. That was going to be my second pick.
Yeah. But I still can get a two guard, even though there's only 3 good ones left. Go ahead, Isaiah.
So this is another one where I almost want to take a big, a stretch big who didn't have the prime that he should have had, but I think that, especially since this is a 2K challenge, I think 2K would be friendly to me. So I'm going to keep that in my pocket. I'm actually going to go Ray Allen out of
Ooh.
UConn. The athleticism of a young Ray Allen,
Nasty.
wild.
So
Absolutely
overlooked.
wild.
So
Yeah.
overlooked. People want to put him in a box as a shooter because that's what he was late in his career when he was successful. But young Ray Allen was like, yeah, the athleticism was like on par of like Vince Carter almost.
Yes,
The
he's
guy
Vince
was
Carter
just-
with a bald head jump shot. Actually, no, VC was bald too.
Yeah.
Man, he had that strap, man.
He's Jesus Shuttlesworth, man.
Jesus Shuttlesworth, yes, sir.
Josh, you get 2 in a row, man. Let us know who you're taking.
Yep. So, I mean, we talked about this guy quite a bit, got disrespected in his prime. 6'2" guard that averaged a triple-double. We're taking Westbrook.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
like
pick.
it. I almost took him first as well over Shea, but I had to. I was a little afraid 2K might destroy me on them turnovers, and I need spacing. I think spacing is huge in this draft because there's not a lot of spacers.
Yep. And on
you
that
get one more?
topic of spacers, I think maybe I could be wrong here, so don't kill me. Okay, yeah, there's Anthony Davis. So second best big man spacer. I'm taking Cat. I feel wrong about it, but for this group and the way my team is panning out, I like Cat.
Yeah, Cat, that's a good pick. I am going back
my
and
guy
forth
Isaiah,
here.
I'll lose it.
Which school did he go to?
I don't know. He's old.
Okay, never mind. There ain't no way I'm picking him. I'm gonna need somebody to lead the charge here. We're gonna need a point guard, and as much as I want to be greedy and take that big that I want that's still on the board, we are gonna take De'Aaron Fox.
I like Fox.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
John Wall with more upside to me.
I agree. I actually agree with that. And speaking of more upside, I think somebody who's going to rival Ray Allen is Reggie Miller.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
Thinking,
Yeah.
what's up?
I was just gonna say I'm surprised he lasted this long. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
by the way we're filling out our teams, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean Reggie is definitely up there.
And then I'm going to take prime DeMarcus Cousins.
Okay.
Oh, you!
I need a shooter.
Yeah,
as a
that was
big.
the
Bill
the
Walton-
stretch that I
Bill
was
Walton
talking
is
about.
underrated with his passing ability.
Mhm.
He played very similar to a bigger, kind of less athletic Draymond Green. I'm going to play him at the 5, maybe, but DeMarcus Cousins, I have to take him now.
Yeah, I feel you there. We're
doing
Man,
12
that's-
players, by the way, guys. 12.
For sure. That definitely threw me for a loop because boy, was I counting on having that available. So now I think I go raw depth. We might not run this small, but I definitely want to have this extra guard. Give me Book.
Oh, yep. That's what I was deciding between was picking up Book and putting him at 2, Reggie Miller at 3, or taking Cousins.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because this leaves me in a spot where I could put Ray at the 3, Book at the 2, or just play Book off the bench.
I like it. Josh?
Yeah, so I'm pretty stuck between two UConn players here.
Yep.
And I
Rip it up, man.
guess I'm just gonna go for the pure shooting. I'm gonna take Rip.
Yep. I knew it. Yep. And
I
what's
got-
crazy? What's
yeah.
crazy is you also get one more.
Yep. So guess I probably need a wing, right? But this guy might be there later. I'm gonna take Caron Butler.
Oh, spicy pick.
Oh my god! I was hoping he'd fall to like 7th pick.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
Okay.
I am going to round out my 5 with a suspect power forward, but I think that we're going to run it. Give me Julius Randle.
Oh, thank God! All right, I like that. I like that. I like that. I'm taking. He's not going to start for me. I'm just going to take him off. I'm taking Bam.
You already took Bam, right?
No, I took DeMarcus. I took
Okay.
Bill Walton over him.
Got you. All right.
I'm taking Bam off my bench. I don't know if he'll be a 4 or 5. And then to follow that up, there's a few guys who like I really want, but I like the idea of staying big, staying athletic, and being able to shoot. My guy from the Bulls will probably be gone next time I come to pick. But if I don't take this guy in his prime, very underrated. I see him play live. I'm taking Rudy Gay.
Oh,
That's a good pick.
okay. I hate that I can't pick 2 in a row because actually, no, I'll get to go before you go again. And I'm going to take Tayshaun Prince off of the bench. So he's either going to be my 3 on the starting lineup and push one of those guards back, or he's going to come off of the bench.
Wrong.
No, I mean, you're close enough.
Okay.
Actually, you might be right on the money, dog.
I just put his last name on my notes.
Yeah.
We have you next, Josh.
Yep. So this is a guy, especially because we're talking primes, Kevin Love.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, prime Kevin Love was something else. I just did everything. Maybe the best outlet passer, great shooter, big body, could get rebounds. Then I'm gonna take John Wall.
It's not glitching for y'all, right? On my side, it's shaking.
You're good.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect. John Wall?
Yep.
I see your John Wall, and I'll raise you a Baron Davis.
Ooh. I like the BD. So I need guards.
I already know who you're picking.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Gordon Ben right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wrote him down, so that's how I'll call him.
Oh, all right.
And then I still need another guard. I'm gonna let y'all see my notes for a second. I still need another guard. I am. Oh wow, I'm taking Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good pick.
Yep. And Isaiah. How many do we have right now? 1, 2, 3, 4,
7.
5, 6, 7,
I'm
8. I have 8, so you have 7. Yep.
Yeah. I almost wish this was a user event because like I could take Willie Cauley-Stein and do some really cool things with Willie Cauley-Stein, but I do not think that he's going to be able to hold his weight here. So we are actually give me Kiki Vandeweghe.
Ooh, that is a very underrated player. I really like Kiki's game. I play him every single year on my team.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot. He's a good shooter too.
Yeah.
Josh?
So I'm going to take a little bit back to the defensive side, I want Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then this is a guy I was going to try to wait on him, but I'm worried he's going to get picked.
You saw
with
my
the amount
list,
of
and now you're
players.
going to take him.
No.
Yep.
I didn't even see him on your list. And this is a guy whose career didn't really take off because he just had some injuries and everything like that. But when you look at the college, and if he was healthy, and that's what this 2K sim is, Emeka Okafor out of UConn.
Ooh.
I mean,
I
this is a
like
guy
it.
that was a number 2 pick. His career just got derailed. I think he would have been for real. And there's not too many big names left. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Isaiah, throw us one.
I am in a spot where I think my team is kind of small.
Mhm.
I think in the grand scheme of things, we are not big. And so I think I'm not going to take. The competitor in me wants to snap Kimba off the board just so you can't have him. And that's only a little bit of how drafting works. So I'm going to go with my gut and go Willie Cauley-Stein so we can just be big.
I like it. I'm going to rapid fire mine off. I know exactly who they are. I'm going to start with Matt Barnes
Mhm.
as a off the bench lock. And then to round out my 10-man lineup, I'm taking an OG. Unless you've seen a lot of Mavericks games from way in the past, you probably don't know him. Jamal Mashburn. I forgot how you say it. That's what I'm taking. He's a good 3-4. He's going to help me a lot with spacing and just toughness. Isaiah, on to your number 10.
Give me Sidney Wicks to round out my backups.
Oh, Wilkes.
Wicks. Like Florida Dreads. Wicks.
Oh, okay. Who's the Wicks? There's a Wilkes in here, isn't there? Right?
Maybe.
Am I tripping?
maybe,
gonna pick him.
but Sidney Wicks, I know who you're referring
Yeah.
to.
Go ahead. And then go ahead with yours, Josh. You get your 10 and your 11 here.
Okay.
Before your last pick.
Oof. This is tough. Well, Darren Collison, I'm going to take as 1.
I like it.
Just lost. And I guess, I'm a little guard heavy, but all these guys can guard up. I'm going to take Lonzo Ball.
I like the Lonzo pick. I didn't know if he had a good enough peak to really do much, but he's a good bench guy for sure.
Yeah.
Isaiah, your second to
Andre
last
Drummond
Oh,
pick.
out of UConn.
He fell hard.
he fell.
Yeah.
He did. He really did. If Andre Drummond, just real quick, I don't want to take too much time up on this, but if this guy was born 10 years earlier and had played in the NBA before bigs were expected to shoot, if he was in that like Dwight Howard or even I guess a little bit earlier than that era, that guy might have won an MVP.
Yeah. I'm going to check my notes real quick, guys. Okay, yeah, cool. So I'm going to end mine with Trevor Ariza.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I'm debating between Danielle Marshall or what would you guys decide for my team looking at it? We have Danielle Marshall or we have Jody Meeks. Shooter, and then I have another 3-4. You know what? I'm taking Jody Meeks. I need a Jody Meeks underrated shooter. In his prime was shot over 40% from 3. He'll be my 12th man. Something to rival that Willie Cauley-Stein pick.
Yeah.
And that Darren Collison pick. I think we're all on the same level with those 3. And that's my last one. Isaiah, your last pick.
Yeah, this is I think I want to go I guess because he's still on the board, give me Kemba Walker.
Fair.
I didn't even realize he was still on the board. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a mess up. Oh, You know what? I got
I took Jody
confused.
Meeks like an idiot. I'll tell you that right now.
I got
realized Kemba Walker was there.
I got confused when Isaiah was talking about Willie Cauley's sign or Kemba, and just in my mind, like he just took Kemba and that was off the board. There's no way Kemba should have fell this far. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, man. We got your last one here. Round out your team. And then we're gonna have to do some things to help me with the sim here. But we'll get the teams figured out first.
Yeah, so this is probably just a little bit of a homer pick, and I just kind of want the height. I'll take a Sheem.
Good.
I
like the beat.
You know, I don't love it, but with what's left and everything, and I tried to pick players that I watched quite a bit, or so I can't go too far back. But so
I like it. All right, guys, listen. I can just throw all these players into 2K and just let it go, but that's kind of not cool in my eyes. Give me your starting 5 and give me your 6-man, and I'll let 2K do the rest.
Okay, cool.
We will start. I can do mine first if y'all want. Make it easier for y'all.
Cool.
So my PG is going to be Shea. My shooting guard will be Reggie Miller. And it's kind of big, but I think looking at the landscape here, big's the way to go. I'm going to put Rudy Gay at my starting 3. I'm taking Bill Walton at my starting 5. And I'm going to... Ooh, shoot.
You can do it. I mean, if you don't want to play one of them, but you can flip a forward and a center. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll put Cousins at my 4. And then my 6-man will be Bam Adebayo.
I feel that. I'm going to go. This is going to sound wild, right? Give me Andre Drummond in the center.
Okay.
AD at the 4.
Andre Drummond's nasty in 2K.
He really is.
He's like one of the best players in 2K.
Now, because I don't know what Julius Randle I'm going to get off of Prime, right? I almost want to put Julius Randle at the 3. Like if this was a user
I'll tell
thing,
you 2K's prime Julius Randle is Lakers Julius Randle.
So he'll be. Did he play 3 with that roster?
He did play 3 with that roster, but he's still the same height, still 6'7".
Give me Tayshaun Prince at the 3. Book at the 2, De'Aaron Fox at the 1, and Ray Allen is going to be our 6-man.
And that was Fox at the PG.
Yep. And Ray.
I'll make it look better. Yeah, I got you. I'll make it look better here. All right. And Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good with my first 5 and just put Wall as my 6th.
Oh, all right. And before we get off the episode here, guys, any I'm guessing that's Westbrook, Rip,
Hamilton
Butler, Cat, Kareem, and then Wall off the bench.
Yep.
Before we get out of here, guys, looking at these teams, what do you guys think your chances are? Who do you guys think your hardest matchup is going to be?
I almost feel like picking Kareem won the draft, right? But I think top to bottom, I think I got this in Sim.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Give me your guys' hardest matchups, though. Don't just suck yourself off.
I think my hardest matchup is going to be Isaiah because he's got Andre Drummond, dude. That guy is just so broken in 2K.
I actually do not like my team at all after Drummond.
Every offensive rebound. Dude's just a monster.
I hate this team now. I hate my team out of draft. I don't know if it works. And what's crazy is that I get really good at drafting in 2K. So it could work. I don't see. I messed up and picked. I shouldn't have taken Bill Walton.
We all fucked up by letting Kemba slide.
I think
I
lose to Nick in Sim, but I beat Josh. But I still think I'll have the better record out of the 3 of us. Like I think our
I like
rosters
both of
might
your
be
guys' teams over mine.
paper, rock, scissors. I feel like yours is small enough where 2K is going to let your guys play fast and play. And mine and Josh's rosters both kind of depend on half court setups. It looks like we've both got guys that can just run the ball baseline to baseline. I don't think anybody's roster is lacking that, but like
Yeah.
as a system, I think you're going to be the fast team. Josh is going to be the well-rounded team, and I'm going to be the big team. And I'm hoping that big does what it's supposed to do and just grabs rebounds and goes from there.
Awesome. I will not have a specific day that I'll be doing this. Hopefully, it'll be a day I can get Isaiah or Josh into a StreamYard with me, and we can stream it together, watch it
Yeah.
happen together. But I will stream this live, regardless, before the next episode, so that way people know that what the results were the actual results. Yeah, it was awesome. And next week, guys, same place, same time. Anything you guys want to say? Season starts soon.
Yeah, I can't wait for the season to start. I'm as high as I've been on them. I'm sick of watching Jackson Hayes highlights. Like, let's just get to the freaking regular season.
I can't watch preseason anymore except for like the Wemby games and like the big the players I really want to watch. It's hard for me to be like, if it's a regular season, I can turn on Wizards versus Hornets and be like, we're gonna have some fun. But if it's preseason, I'm like, the players who are fun might not even be playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might just be G Leaguers, and it's hard to watch. Next week, we will be covering a little bit more of a serious topic as well. We will talk about the Kevin Porter Jr. thing. Hopefully that has been figured out. If it does not, I will say this because we talked about the Jaw stuff in the past. Because this is an issue legally, I don't want to talk about it until it is figured out legally. So we'll skim through what happened, but as far as thoughts and stuff, we probably won't be touching on that.
Closing thought from Isaiah. Why the hell does it cost $20 to get a beer and a hot dog at a basketball game? That's too much.
It is.
That's my closing thought.
All right. Well, you guys have a good one. Next week, this was the tip off episode 1.